Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Kalpesh Patel, and I will be hosting the nuts and bolts tonight and sharing with you some of the experiences that I've had along my journey of 27 years in this great industry called network marketing. And hopefully, you'll be able to grab a few nuggets, learn a few skills, and improve your own journey as you are working out how you can become the best version of you in this amazing industry. And so, all the work we do in these workshops is very practical. It's very uh, simplified, if you like. I try and make things simple, things that might feel experientially complicated. They might appear difficult, but I try and break it down into micro-sized chunks of actions that can eventually be built into daily habits. All right. So one of the things I was thinking about earlier today is like, what is it that builds momentum? And so, for me, it's about the consistency. Like, how many people are you speaking to on a daily basis? How many people are you exposing the information to every single day? Notice I didn't say every week or every month or every year, because it's irrelevant. Those numbers become less relevant. The most relevant number for me is the one that comes up on a daily basis. And you've got to start with one. Like, if you're not speaking to at least one new person a day, every single day, ideally a lot more than that, especially in the beginning when you're learning to build the skills, but at a very bare minimum, bottom rung of the ladder, one conversation a day is the minimum requirement, in my opinion, to start building some kind of expertise and fluency around growing your organization, building your team. So there's a few dynamics, right? Number one is your invitation skill. Number two is, so even before that, let's rewind a little. Before inviting, what do? We pre-qualify people. So back in the days, I was taught to make a list of 100 people. We literally were given sheets of A4 paper, and we had to write down names, phone numbers of every, like all the people we knew. And we had these reminder sheets, like, family, friends, occupational friends, social friends, hobby friends, milkman, postman, shopkeeper, like literally all of these reminders. Today, because we live in a very social world, I often say it's so easy today compared to back in the day. Back in the day, if you wanted to show someone the presentation, you had to physically go and meet them wherever they were in the country. So you were limited geographically. If you didn't have a car, that would limit your ability to public transport. And of course, internationally was next to non-existent unless you had really rock solid relationships with people abroad that you could pick up the phone to and sell to them over the phone. Can you imagine trying to sell something over the phone? It's a fraction of the power of selling something visually. So the dynamics were very different back then, and yet still people used to build huge organizations and succeed. And so the basic raw materials of everything is leads. So where do you find people today? Social media, right? That's got to be the go-to, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, or wherever else you might find your communities, your people, your tribe. So find your tribe. That's your list. All right. The list is not restricted to 100 people you know anymore. It is restricted to the number of platforms you are active in and connecting with people on. So make sure you're on plenty of platforms and make sure you're engaging your audiences. How do you engage audiences? Speak to the relevance of what it is you're trying to attract. All right. So the tribe that you attract will be based on what you post about. So if you post things that are entrepreneurial by nature or leadership driven, attitude driven, mindset driven by nature, you will attract people that are into what you're into. That's how you start building up your social network, if you like. Once you start getting that network built up, then it's a case of, like I said, even one a day. Like with social media, it's such a small goal, isn't it? That means you've got 365 friends on your social media channel. So if you've got more than 365 friends on your social media channels, then maybe you want to speak to 2 a day or 3 a day or 4 a day or 5 a day. Like if you've got 2,000 people, then you can speak to 5 a day comfortably. Can you see that? And it will take you a full year to get through. But here's what will happen. If you speak to 5 people a day, every single day, bar none, for a year, I promise you by the end of that year, you will be a rock star networker, because you'll have learned all the skills of how to break the ice, how to continue a conversation, how to keep people engaged, how to pique their interest, how to rile up their curiosity, how to get them interested, how to get them excited, how to get them to ask you for more information. All of these skills are learnt through practice. All right. So that's what you're doing when you're engaging with people on your social media. Now, when you're engaging with them, do not do it through your front page, your wall, so to speak. Your wall is to display yourself. It's your your wall, isn't it? It's your wall of, hey, look at what I'm interested in. And if people come over to your wall and go, wow, I like those things as well, they might like a few things, comment on a few things, even share a few things. This gives you indication of how engaged they are. If they're just liking, there's a connection, there's rapport. If they're commenting, then they're moved. There's an engagement. And if they're sharing, that is a super hot connection. You want to reach out and say hello to anyone that shares any of your posts personally. So inbox them and introduce yourself. So based on the priorities, if they've shared anything ever, introduce yourself and build a solid relationship there. There's obviously strong, if you like, background connection. If they comment, then reply, inbox them personally. And if they're liking, that's the next phase. They're the last batch of people that you'll connect with. All right. And well, the last batch is the people that are your friends, but they've never liked, commented, or shared on anything. That'll be the last batch, right? They exist as well. They're your secret admirers. Let's call them that, right? They're just there hanging around in the background. They probably watch your posts from time to time, but they haven't got either the courage to engage with you yet, or haven't been inspired enough to engage with you. So then you've got your prospects. You qualify the prospect. How do you qualify them? By getting to know them. Get to know your prospect. Get to know what interests they have. What are they up to? What do they want? What are the things that are their hot buttons? And then now you've got some, if you like, leverageable conversations on your side. If you know that they're totally 100% committed to their kids, talk to them about how you can help them give their kids a better life. If they're 100% committed to toys, they're always posting about nice cars, nice homes, or holidays, stuff like that. Talk to them about how you can help them get more of that in their life. So speak to what's relevant to them. Learning to speak in a way that is relevant to your prospect is a powerful way to communicate as well, rather than just chit-chatting that doesn't necessarily produce any outcomes. So always think when you're speaking or sharing or connecting with people, what's relevant to them, what's going to get them engaged, what's going to get them interested, what's going to keep them motivated to communicate with you. All right. And don't rush this part. This is such an important part of the journey. Building the relationship is really important, especially in the early days when you're new and you might not have a database of hundreds, if not thousands of people that you can reach out to in a heartbeat. So then you need to invest a lot more time in nurturing those relationships. If you've got too many contacts, like if you've got 10,000, 20,000 contacts on social media, you haven't got time to mess about with small talk. You can afford to go straight in. You want to filter out who are the people that are already in direct selling, who are already in network marketing, who are already in affiliate marketing, and reach out to them directly and say, hey, listen, Thomas, I've seen some information. I want to share it with you. When is a good time? When can we jump on Zoom for 20 minutes? Straight to the point. What have you got? I'll show you when we schedule the time. Done. So based on how full your conveyor belt of leads is how much time you will invest in building the relationships. All right. So everything is relative. Nothing is black and white. I know oftentimes we're looking for the black and white, but honestly, everything is in the gray zone. And so once you've determined the relevance, you've got the conversation, the background of the conversation is relevant. At that point, you can then introduce, hey, what are you doing for income? Are you involved in any opportunities online? Like, you can be quite direct. Once you build good rapport and relationship with someone, and if you're leading the conversation, and I suggest you learn how to lead conversations, and leading the conversation just means that you're the one that's asking the relevant questions that lead to a relevant answer. So you can ask them questions around, hey, are you doing anything online? Have you made any money on the internet? Have you tapped into the wealth that's available in blockchain? Whatever you think is the most relevant thing that's going to get them replying with a yes or a no answer. And as soon as they say, yes, I have, so oh, great, congratulations. Tell me a little bit about some of the stuff you've done. Let them say what they're doing. And then you can introduce, it's inevitable at some point they will ask you what you're doing and you can introduce what you're up to. Again, not by giving information, but by speaking in generic terms until you get them to a presentation. The goal of the pre-qualification is to invite them to a presentation, not to present to them. All right. The goal of the pre-qualification is to get them onto a Zoom, whether it's a Zoom presentation done by somebody else, like a scheduled Zoom by somebody else, or a Zoom that you will deliver one-to-one with them. If you're a really fluent presenter, you've got the skills, the ability to influence on a Zoom and move people and share in a way that's exciting and engaging, then do it yourself for sure. That gives you a lot more freedom and flexibility in terms of other people's schedules. If you're not a great presenter, and be honest with yourself, if you're not able to engage audiences, connect with them, move them, and influence them, then don't do the presenting. Don't mess up your opportunity. You want to make sure you put them in front of somebody that is great at all of those things. It could be somebody in your upline who's more available for you in the early stages of building. If they're still building their foundations, they'll be available to do those calls with you, or plug them into the daily Zooms that already exist for the community. All right, so they're your options. Once you've got them to a Zoom, what happens next? Well, first of all, in the Zoom, and by the way, a lot of you can learn from this yourselves, put your camera on. Why do we ask you to put your camera on? Well, look, at the moment, there's 5 cameras on. One of them's mine. The other 4 cameras that are on, chances are all of you are looking at those 4. None of you are looking at the gray kind of part of the screen, right? And so it's, when you're there, be present. Put your video on. Be there. Don't just log on and be in the background. There's a power when you put your video on that has you be present. All right. It has you be present for the people. Look at this. It's already a prettier screen, isn't it? A few more people put their camera on, and it doesn't take much. It's just a click of a button. And whether it's because you're trying to do something else while you're doing this, or you're camera shy, or if you're naked, don't put your camera on until you put something on. But whatever the reason is, just have a look at what the reason is, and don't be reasonable. Don't buy into your reason and say, do you know what? You're right. I'm going to engage. I'm going to be a part of the community. I'm going to show up, because when you show up, it speaks volumes for everybody else. It shows that you're present. It shows that you're connected, but also you now become a familiar face, and that's how families are built. Familiarity, right? So when you show up like that, familiarity will eventually start creating that family feeling. All right, so please go ahead and put your cameras on so that I can deliver better content, because it does work like that, by the way. The quality of the content improves as the cameras come on. It's a natural phenomenon that happens in Zooms. All right, so again, highly encourage all of you to just click on that video button. So the other thing is, when your guest is there and they see you there with your video on, they know you're more serious than the people that have got their videos off. 99% of the time, you are more serious about being present. When your guest shows up and they see you, they're more engaged, they're more connected, they feel like you're there for them, and of course the community knows that you're there for the community as well. So there's so many different things that happen when you put your camera on versus not, right? Because honestly speaking, when the camera's off, it's not fun for anybody. It really isn't. Like, when you're just listening to a voice, it's 2-dimensional. It's like a radio. A radio is entertaining to a point, but nowhere near as engaging and entertaining as a cinema or a movie, right? So, most humans are visual. A small percentage are auditory, but the majority of us are visual creatures. And so the camera does make a difference to everybody. So now you come onto the Zoom, you're there. Don't just send people to a Zoom and not be there. Horrible, 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 cringe. Unless there's like an extreme scenario and you just cannot be on the Zoom, fair enough. Always make sure you've got people on the Zoom, because that's you building your organization, and get your teams to come on the Zoom. But when you're not on the Zoom, or when people don't see you, when you're hiding behind the camera, guess what? Your team is hiding behind their camera, and it doesn't take long for them to disconnect. But from the beginning, if your camera is always on and so is theirs, the connection remains real, and over time, it's like they get the feeling that they're physically working with you, like they know you, like you've become real friends. From online friendships, the camera turns it into a real friendship. All right. So always do that. Be there so that when your guest shows up, they can see you, even if they're too shy to put their camera on in the beginning. Eventually, you can. People don't do as you say, they do as you do. You can't tell people to show up 100% be present if you don't show up and you're not 100% present. Do you get that? Like, you can tell them to do that, but people don't care what you're saying. They're watching what you're doing. And so, show up how you want your people to show up. All of these little things make such a huge difference. Every little step, when I'm telling you the things I'm telling you, they're all from experience. I'm sharing from a place of experience that every tiny part of this jigsaw puzzle makes all of the difference. You skip one part and it has a domino effect on every other part. So that's why it's such a beautiful industry, because there is a science to it. And if you're committed to the science, you'll see the results. And if you're half committed to the science, you'll see half the results. And if you're not committed to the science, good luck. Literally, roll the dice and let's hope it happens for you. But if you really want to understand how the psychology of network marketing works, then just listen to the stuff I'm sharing that's in between the stuff that is obvious. And so now they're at the presentation, you're at the presentation, you're paying attention, they're paying attention, you're smiling and nodding and confirming, they are receiving an information, a signal from you. Body language is 90% of all communication. So your presence, hence again why the video on is a huge part. But also you're on the video, if the video's on and you're sitting there scratching your armpits and looking out the window, different signal. They're not getting the signal of you're engaged or interested in what's going on in the Zoom at that point in time. People say, Kalps, I've heard it 50 times. I've heard it 100 times. You haven't heard it enough. Unless you're already at the top of the plan and crushing it. You haven't heard it enough. Does that make sense? Every time you hear it, treat it like it's the first time you're listening. That way you're not sitting there going, you're not doing all of that, right? So disciplining yourself, that's called being present. Be here, be now, be how you want them to be. They will mirror your energy, your vibe. All of this stuff works every single time. It's a 100% bulletproof formula that I'm sharing with you. So when you're engaged, they're engaged. When you're paying attention, they're paying attention. When you're smiling, they're smiling. When you're excited about something, they're excited about something, right? The likelihood of all of those things on their side increases dramatically when it's real for you. Imagine if I approached every presentation or training with the mindset of, I've done this before, or I've seen it before. There's no way I'd be able to build what I build if that was my mindset or attitude or approach to anything that I did. Everything is like you're doing it for the first time. How many people do you think I invite on a regular basis on my phone? And each and every time I do that, it's like I'm doing it for the first time. Because for that person, it is the first time. I never have the thing going on of, oh, here we go again. Like that's an attitude thing. So you need to give yourself an attitude adjustment if that's going on in the back of your mind when you're engaging with people. Presentation finishes, raise your hand and share. Give your testimonial. Listen to the story you tell yourself of why you shouldn't give your testimonial. I haven't got a story to tell. I don't come up that confident, whatever it is, whatever stuff you've got going on, listen to that and then learn to override it. Click on the little hand raise, share your story, and guess what? It doesn't take long for your guest to go, wow, Sue's actually a rock star in this community. Not only has she been there with her video on, engaged, smiling, connected, enjoying the whole thing, but she's also got a hand up and now she's sharing. Wow, I'm in. Do you get that? Because you're leading. Leadership is something you demonstrate, not something you tell people about. People that tell people they're leaders make me laugh. Leaders don't need to tell people that they're leaders. Your people know if you're a leader or not. Your actions tell them. Leadership is demonstrated, not bragged about. So all of these things make a difference. Now, once the presentation is done, when you share your story, how do you share a story? Even a story has a beginning, middle, and an end. There's a process to the sharing of the story. The story is your name, your location. Why? These are things that are relatable. Name because it's you, your location because anyone that speaks that language or lives in that country or nearby instantly, oh, they can do it. Oh, in my area, there's somebody doing it as well. Subconsciously, tiny little messages get triggered with every word you say. So where you're from, again, if you're brave enough, your age. I know a lot of people are shy about that kind of stuff, but tell them, hi, my name's Kalpesh. I'm 53. I live in Dubai, and I saw this opportunity through a friend of mine 3 months ago. Had a bit of a bumpy start in the beginning because I've never done crypto before. But once I got my teeth into this, oh my God, I'm so excited today. Da, 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 da. So, what your experience has been like and what it's doing for you. And then, if you're just new, when I saw this, God, I was kind of rock bottom, didn't have much going on in my life other than my usual 9 to 5 and, living month to month, paycheck to paycheck, hand to mouth, not a very exciting life, pretty predictable. It's been the same life for the last 7 or 8 years since I left university, but having got involved with this amazing community here, goodness, the stuff I'm learning, my enthusiasm and my entire life has gone through the roof. I'm now looking forward to a fantastic future, a better future, and building a phenomenal residual income going forward with my business partners and my teams. Boom. 1 minute. It's more than enough. A minute, if you speak with intention and purpose and focus, a 1 minute testimonial, bang, done and dusted. All right. So listen to get as many people to share their testimony as possible. And then if there's questions, we encourage new people to get those questions done. The reason we do that, let me tell you the science behind it. First of all, the presentation is designed in a way to answer 95% of questions if people pay attention. Hence why they must pay attention, and they will if you pay attention. The more you pay attention, the more they pay attention. All right. Bearing in mind, it's going to be the first time they've seen it. They're not going to retain all the information they see, but it's enough there for them to go, wow, something's going on. Enough there to ask a couple of questions if they need to, and enough to say yes or maybe later or no. Right. Although no's don't come often if you've got somebody that's even half awake. If you've got a pre-qualified guest that paid attention on the presentation, chances are they're a yes or a maybe. They're not going to be a no if you've done all of the previous work already, because it's a bit of a no-brainer, right? €100 to get started in your own opportunity to build an unlimited global empire. Come on, who doesn't want to do that, right? That's the obviousness. So immediately after the presentation, call them up. Thank them. Thank them for showing up. Respect the fact that they gave up their time, and then make sure that they've, if they got their questions answered on the Zoom, then just get them signed up. If they engaged in the Zoom is designed to do everything for you other than the process of signing up. So your job is really simple. The last thing you want to do then is call them up and say, hey, listen, thanks for that. I love the fact that you asked your questions. I hope you're satisfied. Should we get you started? Boom. Let's open up a laptop. Let's jump on a Zoom. Let's do a screen share. I'll walk you through the process. Unless they're already familiar with crypto, in which case you just send them the instructions and get them signed up that way over the phone. Cool. Now, if there's a maybe, if there's an R or hesitation, or they didn't engage much on the call, could be a couple of things. They came, if their video wasn't on, you don't even know if they were paying attention. So assume the worst. Assume that they came, but they didn't pay attention. EastEnders was more important, or the news was getting their attention, or Amazon delivery came and they got all excited about their Amazon delivery, whatever. Assume that they didn't pay attention, in which case you may need to recover the situation with another Zoom where you one-on-one with them and show them the presentation. Go through it with them. Play a recording if you're not a great presenter. If you are, then present to them. But do it while the iron is hot, as they say. Strike while the iron is hot. They were there at the Zoom. Whether they were present or not, we don't know. If the camera's on, you know if they're present. If the camera's off, you don't know. You assume they weren't present unless they tell you otherwise. Get the questions out the way. If you've got any questions before we get you started, it's called an assumed close, right? See, it just pops out naturally from you. It's not even like I have to tell you what it is after I say it. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, if you've got any questions, or should we just get you started? Just done. I'm like, hey, if you came to the presentation and the pre-qualification process was done, you told me that you're open, you told me you're looking for an opportunity, you told me you got something that you want to do with your life beyond survival, then guess what? I'm going to give you the tools and the platform to do that with me on. So with that said, let's get you signed up. Let's get you started. Let's get this journey moving forward. Let's take the first step together. So that's got to be the mindset again as you're engaging with people. These are all just simple conversational skills that do 90% of the work for you. Remember this, people, for the most part, do not make decisions in their life. Most people live their entire lives by the decisions of other people. Think it through. How many of you went to school because you wanted to go to school? You didn't even know what school was until somebody introduced it to you. Your parents had to introduce you to the concept. Chances are, like people resist network marketing, you probably resisted school at the beginning as well, right? Chances are you were like, I don't think that's for me. I enjoy playing in my living room. Leave me alone. I don't want to walk through the snow to get to school or walk through the rain. Chances are that there was some resistance. They introduced you to a concept. You had a little bit of resistance, but with the commitment, the focus that they had, the dedication they had, eventually they turned you around, they influenced you, and they got you into school, right? Everything in life works the same way. Everything works the same way. The ones that are paying attention and engage at school get better grades than the ones that aren't. It's really that simple. I know it sounds oversimplistic, but it really is. Think back to the kids that got all the grades at school. Maybe you were one of them. Usually sat near the front of the class, usually paying attention, making notes, doing their homework, and guess what? Kicking exams butt. Check out the ones that failed miserably. Chances are back of the class, late, often not even turning up, all of that. All the patterns are the same always for the vast majority of times. Of course, there's always a fluke. There's always the fluke, like I was, who would, I wouldn't turn up late and not turn up at class, but I was paid very little attention, but somehow retained information quite well and managed to skim through the exams. I was never an A grade student, but getting B's and C's by accident was good enough for me, right? So some people do have certain advantages over others, but for the most part, strategically, you can put yourself in a position of maximizing the odds of winning in whatever you do. In network marketing, everything I've shared with you there maximizes the odds of you winning. Of course, as soon as somebody's signed up, get them trained. Teach them the basics. Get them to these trainings. Get them to plug in. Don't miss Tuesdays, no matter what. That's got to be the mindset. The training is the foundation of everything. And then get them to schedule in their diary how many presentations a week they will show up to that are group presentations like this one, open presentations. Are they going to commit to 2 a week, 3 a week? 2 is like a minimum. 1 nuts and bolts and 2 presentations a week, if they want to earn any kind of reasonable income, is a minimum requirement, if you like, from my perspective. Engaging 3 times a week with your larger community is a must. The more, the higher the odds, because you accelerate everything through full immersion, right? So that's how that all works. So more about that another time. I've done my half an hour for everybody, so I'm going to now roll into the room. And as always, the regular faces are there. Dizzy, how we doing, buddy? Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Greetings, Kalpesh. Greetings to the world, wherever you are on this beautiful place we call Earth. Life is good and off the charts training again. I've known you for 18 years and it's always good to hear it again. What you said today was gold dust, my friend. So thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you, Dizzy. How long have you been with us?
So I've been in the crypto space for 2 years. I live in Manchester. I got a call from you 2 years ago saying, Dizzy, do you want to get into crypto? I knew nothing. But what I have learned in the last 2 years has shown me that this company that we're working with is absolutely fabulous. Transparency,
amazing,
the legitimacy, and the rewards and the plan, second to none. I'm excited.
Awesome. Thank you. And thanks for being here. Sue, how are we doing?
Hey, hi Kalpesh. Thank you so much for an awesome training. Like, it just really pumps me up every time I join these sessions. I also want to just acknowledge everybody that had their video on today, right? Like, it really does give a next level energy to the cause. Like, I can see Hassan, I can see Dizzy, Aaron, Paul, like, it's just so awesome to get all these incredible giants out there and get their energy, right? They're plugging in and they're showing up, like, and all of us together as a community, the more we show up, the more our people will show up, like, and I think that's so important. And what I just wanted to say about what you shared, right, is that, you know, showing up on a Zoom with your video on, you bring another level of energy to that, you know, and when you bring that level of energy, you're generating yourself to be like, you know, everyone here, look at all these, you know, 2, 4, sorry, I'm not really good at counting, 7 people on here, right, at this screen. Right, there's 7 people on the screen, like everybody sat up leaning into this conversation, you know, like the energy is like, wow. So imagine bringing that on every call, you know, every conversation, you know, those that are sitting there behind their screens, you know, like, again, you don't know what you're doing, we don't know what they're doing, whether they're listening, taking it in, but here we're leaning in. And what that also generates is you know, that flow of energy out there in the world as well. Because I do think that the more, like, I'm here contributing to 49 people, well, 48, including me, right? So, you know, like, that's me sharing out there in the universe. And what does that attract? More of the same, you know, coming back to me. So it's just incredible. And I do think that, you know, I was speaking to my team on Monday. We have a leaders call on Monday with my team. You know, we were just saying, like, if your energy is focused here, your people will be focused as well. If you're not in the game and you're not showing up and you're not lit up, your people will also not show up and not be lit up. So I think it's so, so important to really bring it. I'm super duper excited about coming to Dubai, stepping up my leadership, you know, and again, you know, we could sit in the space of, oh, you know, like, this is my problem, like, you know, problem solving, or we can be in the sense of creation, like, what am I creating? You know, so I think it's, you know, I'm really creating excitement to be in Dubai this weekend. And I'm really looking forward to meeting more people in the community, people who are established in the WeWe Global community, and really learning and vibing off some of the leaders over here as well, who are going to join me at the weekend. So thank you so much for just doing these calls and bringing your energy, you know, consistently.
Thank you. Amazing. Look at that. Absolutely spot on as well. Engagement happens in the present moment. Paul, how are you, buddy?
Hey, Kalps, how are you, my friends?
Amazing.
It's been a while.
Amazing.
It's been a while. I can't believe how much I missed these. Brilliant. I'm on, yeah, energy, being present, being part. One of the things that I've really enjoyed is the leadership, true leadership. I got the wonderful opportunity last night of spending a few hours with my closest mentor, the amazing energy herself, Sharon James. Yeah, just to be able to talk and share where we're going, the vision that we've now got, and the opportunities that continue. But again, second to none leadership. It's absolutely amazing. Got my grandkids, all right. Grandkids always want to talk when you're talking.
Good, man, it's all real.
But yeah, I really love this again, loving the real friendships that I've made over the last 18 months. As you know, my story's been quite a difficult journey, but shared with someone today of how important it was to show up and to plug in and to get involved and to give you energy, even when everything around you's falling apart. And I've had a pretty tough week, a couple of tough weeks. But the issue was I saw the vision. I had the incredible opportunity to be over in Dubai with you, Sharon, Dan, and some of the other leaders from the UK. Was just blown away. And I'm proud to say, Mr. Kalpesh Patel, as of today, I've got my 10 signed, sealed, funded.
Look at that. Again, look, no coincidence. Dizzy, got your 10. Sue, got your 10. Paul, got your 10. Look at the patterns. Everything shows up, right? When you show up, it all shows up. Amazing.
Just followed the plan. Was it a struggle? You bloody better believe it was a struggle, mate. But I focused. I got down to it. Had me bad days. Got up when I didn't want to get up. Went to sleep when I wanted to go to sleep. And yeah, the universe gives you what you ask. I asked for 10 and I got 10. In fact, I got 12. But I got a couple to spare.
Love it.
But yeah, love it. Thanks, Cal's, once again. Thanks for the leadership. And again, the same leaders always show up, and the true leaders show up, and the true leaders share, and the true leaders have a vision, and the true leaders go and get it. And I've gone and got it, and I'm building and forging links is now in the game. We're absolutely delighted to be here and to be part of this new journey, and we're excited.
Superb.
And but that's it. Take care. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you,
Love the
buddy.
space. Love
Thank
the
you.
energy.
Thanks,
Take care.
buddy. Thank you. Enjoy your time with your grandkids. Aaron, how are you, bud?
I am great,
Trinidad and
Kalpesh.
Tobago
How
in
are
the
you?
house.
I just want to say great training as usual. And I believe I was one of those people that fluked in school as well. Sorry, I have the degree, but I think I fluked in school as well, right?
Yep.
And what I took from this is that no matter how much you think you have it figured out, you never have it. You always have something to learn. I thought I had social media and marketing figured out on the ball. I thought I have it. I invite you. I follow up with you, ask you a couple questions. What did you like best about what you saw on a scale of 1 to 10? I thought I had it figured out, but still, I mean, I'm still able to learn something here because especially with the we always tell our team members about putting on their cameras and being part of it. And when you said you always assume that they are the worst if their camera is off and they're not engaged. So I mean that was very important for me. Also, and also asked me to share about the launches that we have been doing for the past 2 weeks. Myself and Peter Sam and the team. I mean, it was really. I want to thank you guys, Sue, Dizzy, and Kalpesh for showing up. I mean, by you guys showing up, it added a lot more value to the Zoom. And as much as you may not have seen the numbers coming on as yet, and we operate on a monthly basis. So these guys say month end we're gonna have an influx at the end of the month. But it added a lot of value to it. Peter has been doing a lot of hard work. I appreciate working with him. I think we make a very strong team working together. And we have a couple other leaders that we try to drive. A lot of people are discouraged right now and are upset for other reasons. I like to share the story about him and her, the cheese, who moved my cheese. I don't know if you ever seen that before. And I usually share that with them and say, guys, either you're going to sit down and wait for the cheese to come back, or you're going to go and find new cheese. So we have been really talking to the people, and a lot of them are still upset. They're still going to sit down and wait for the cheese to come back. Likewise, while we look for new cheese. And we bring some along with us.
Great analogy. Great book as well. Very easy read. Powerful messages in there, and really good. Thank you.
Yes, and Sue, don't worry. We will be bringing a couple of people at the event in Dubai. Well, who knows, some magic might happen, because the last time I was in Dubai. The last time it was like today for tomorrow. I would have booked that flight and got to Dubai in 2 days' time. So you can imagine what's going to happen, right? You never know. Let's just put it out in the atmosphere, and who knows, I'll show up there, or probably a couple of us will show up there. So again, thank you guys for the support. All the guys who is coming on, I'm familiar with all these faces now. I've met Hassan already in Dubai, Sharon, all you guys are familiar now. So you're like a family, from just a close-knit family, just right there. So thank you guys for everything, all the support, all the motivation, and it has been pushing us to move forward. And we look forward to the journey and meeting you guys to the top. So that's my part.
Thank you. Hassan, you're up next, buddy.
Hey, champ. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I've definitely missed these calls as well. It's nice to be plugging in and seeing familiar faces, part of the community, which is great. I just done a call with some of my guys just before the call, actually, and I made sure that I was off the call 10 minutes before so I could jump on this call. Was that my phone? Oh, somebody else. And just kind of the excitement, just been doing a bit of dream building. Where do I want to go? What do I want to build? Not where I want to build, but where, like, for me, like where I see myself, because first I have to believe it in my mind before I can actually actualize it and put it into action. I've been doing a lot of that in the last couple of weeks. And for me, if I do something, I have to go, I kind of go full pelt, and I'm excited. I'm really excited about, seeing myself at the top with all of you guys, and doing a lot more Dubai trips and other trips, and I can see Dizzy smiling there in one of the screens. But yeah, this is just what I've been looking for. It's been a while. and you know, the some of my guys are excited as well, and yeah, this will be lots more launches plugging into the system. And it's true, you know, from my experience has been the people that are on the calls consistently week in, week out get results. It's just a given, you know.
Absolutely brilliant.
And so yeah, it's good to see the same thing.
I would say roll your sleeves up and let's go to work, but you're wearing a t-shirt, so a bit of a dead comment.
I think I'll end up taking it off by the end of the week.
There you go. Sharon, how you doing, hon?
Hello, how are we?
Hey.
How is everyone? Oh,
Amazing.
I must admit, I agree. I miss these calls. Dora, God bless her, she had a call booked for me at 7, and I was like, 7? And then I was trying to, and I was like, well, just let me know when you're ready for me. So I've hung on this long, thank goodness.
Oh, bless.
And had my camera off because I got somebody else registered. Do you know what? It's such a beautiful system. It just feels right, guys. It just feels good to be able to have such strength to work alongside, you know, the corporation, the licensing, the legislations, the everything is just right. And I'm super excited about this new ICO. I am super excited. So if you're not going to Dubai, guys, you know, unfortunately you'll miss out. Everybody's going to do amazing. Everybody is, but we just get a little touch. You know, that was maybe an incentive that I wanted to get there. But for me, Kalpesh, we're just getting going now. It's been, you know, there's been a lot of things going on, a lot of noise, a lot of drama. But I feel that we're starting to get through. We've chopped the trees down. We're just stamping down the brambles now. And I feel that I think we need to have a clear path to, and I loved what Sue said. We've got a choice. You know, for me, shut your laptop down, go home. You know, it's either that or wither away, or you have to think to yourself, hang on a minute, my dream is big, my vision is big. What the hell am I doing? You know, I've got a strong arm here reaching out to me. You know, We Global is saying, Sharon, come on, you know, we've got this for you. What are you playing at? What are you waiting for? So for me, it's just a matter of like finding your feet, finding your rhythm, because, you know, there's different rhythms out there, guys. And this is something that kind of like starts to get under your skin. And I'm loving it. I just love knowing. I mean, I went along today. My daughter's got a horse, and it's a really kind of like a you know, really kind of like show jumping horse. And I've got this trainer guy that's selling it for us, and somebody's coming over from Greece next month to come and buy it. Anyway, so I nailed him. He's in. You know, he's joined today, and he likes crypto, and that's what I was finishing off tonight, was because I think that's the type of caliber of people that you can speak to now. These are the people, business people, you know, business owners, anybody that's interested in crypto at all. We Global is certainly a place that you can stand proud and say, look what we've got, look what we have. Do you see any of this anywhere else? No, you don't. Well, come and join us, because we've got a beautiful project. I'm excited about Dubai. And you know me, Kalpesh, you know how much I love Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Well, my vision is Christmas. It's always about Christmas for me. I'm a big Christmas fan, guys. So Christmas, I want everybody to set a goal. Where will you be by Christmas? And I know we've got some of our team members on here today. So I want you to not look at, oh, I'm struggling. You know, look at Paul. You know, he made that 10. Was he going to make it 3 weeks ago? Maybe not, but he's made it. So everybody can do that 10. I think 30 days is a long time. Yeah. And I think that's the key, is to get that 10. That's your first tick done. So thanks, Kalpesh, for being consistent, being on these calls. You know, Kalpesh would be here if there was 3 people on the call.
Yep. 100%.
You know, and that's what being able to rely on your Kalpesh, and I love that. And there's only 50 odd people come on this call. Let me tell you, there'll be times that you'll have to log in 15 minutes early because you ain't going to get on otherwise.
100%.
So watch by Christmas. That's what's going to happen.
100.
So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I love that. Build for the future. Like, you know, what is your Christmas going to be like? Where are you going to be? What are you going to be doing? Who are you going to be with? How is it going to look? You know, it's like 5 months from now. What's
Christmas.
the story? What is
Absolutely.
the story?
Kalpesh, I'm coming to Dubai and spending an extra day, so where I'm going to hook up with you, okay?
Done. Can't wait.
All
and
right.
by the way, I'll see you before that anyway. We're going to be going to Mexico in November.
Oh yes, I've got a bit of work to do for that.
A little bit, but we'll get it done, right? So again, for those that don't know, that's the next target, right? Get yourself to Ambassador 6 and let the company fly you around the world in different locations every 6 months on them. Take it. It's on the table for anybody that wants it. Grab it. Stuart, how you doing, buddy?
How you doing, Kalpesh? Can you hear me?
Amazing. Yes, I can.
Yeah, I just want to say every time I jump on these nuts and bolts, I get off buzzing, mate. And I just want to get on my phone and start texting people. But I was 10 minutes late tonight, but I had good reasons. I went round. I've been speaking to a guy you give me some tips on the messaging. And I just want to say I appreciate you for helping me out, dropping me the odd message. It really inspires me. And Sue as well, your missus. She's fantastic, mate. She's got me back all the time. And our little group we've got going on, yeah, I think, I'm just buzzing, mate. You know what I mean? And
awesome.
I'm really enjoying it, mate.
Super proud of your work ethic. You are as consistent gets, and really looking forward to you shining at the top very soon as well. Really proud to have you.
Appreciate it, mate.
Thank you. Monish.
Hello,
Hey.
Everybody. As
Sun
you said,
in the house.
you have to introduce yourself. Maunish from Sweden. How are you guys doing? Across the globe, and some of the guys saying across the world. So I just wanted to say a quick thank you for you, Kalpesh. And the reason is sometimes you fall off the wagon, and then you have this nuts and bolts, you have the trainings, and then you always don't beat yourself. Get on the bandwagon again. I've been away for a week with my family, doing some family chores, but you stick around and you get back and you just keep on going. I know what you did in your last journey. I know. And from there, I learned a lot. Never, ever say no to Kalpesh Patel. So that's number one. And number two, you become like the person you hang around with. You are the average of your 5 closest friends. So yes, I want to have Kalpesh as my friend, definitely, for sure. And so many more leaders in here. And even if I'm not going to be the top, if I become the average of the 5 closest friend over here, I'll be good anyway. So I think I'll be pretty fine. So I'm
gonna have to intervene there, though, Monish. I cannot have you sitting here a couple of weeks into the business talking about not getting to the top. I've got no idea where that pattern comes from.
I will get to the top. I didn't say no, I'm not going to go to the top. I'll join you there, man. Don't worry about it.
I just thought I heard something different for a second. I was like, hold on a second.
No. I mean, if I want to have you guys as my top 5 friends,
yes,
there's no chance I'll be left around in the back corner somewhere like,
exactly.
Who's this guy from Sweden? Don't worry, I'll be there with you. I'll be on every 6 months trip, and we'll have a nice orange juice and talk about all this people like, you remember the guy who said no? Yeah, I don't remember him.
Exactly.
Back in the days, remember what we used to say? We're going to write the name of the people who said no, and we're going to send them a postcard that I'm here, where are you? So I think we're going to take up that thing again. Like, what do you get when you travel? You get postcards from the leadership.
Perfect.
So thank you. And thanks once again for all the great stuff you do and the leadership here that you're showing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Aaron, you've got your hand back up.
Yes, hi Kalpesh. I just wanna come back again because I know I think I did not fully answer what Sue had requested. And we was about the launches that we did a
Yes.
couple week 2 weeks in a row. So I could just share it with everyone.
Yeah.
So what we did is we came together. We have a couple of our leaders, and we also have our team members in a group, and we came together as the leaders. We shared the information with them, myself and Peter, and then we started sending out all the information to the team members and so forth, and then they would share it with their friends and so forth. So on each Zoom we had over 120 persons on each launch.
Yeah.
And that is, trust me, that is very small because the first launch we did, when we did a launch with Kalpesh with the previous program back in January of 2021, we had about 400-500 people on that particular Zoom, right? When we had Kalpesh come on. I know within the next couple of months, when we do another launch, it's going to have at least 300-400-500-600 people. It might be actually maxed out to 1,000. But we on the team right now, only about 25 people are actually registered so far. And most of these people who came on to the Zoom on the launch, they are interested, they want to get on board. Some of they are ready, so just to organize their funds. And we have an issue with with acquiring the crypto, so it's kind of challenging for us, not as easily accessible as everyone else. But we find a way around everything. So yes, so that was it. That was what we really did. And then we actually, as I said, we would have contacted Kalpesh and we asked Kalpesh to come on. We played this video and we had them come on at the end just for the Q&A. So that gives a lot more. And then Sue, when we were the first one, Kalpesh invited Sue and Dizzy. And I was surprised, and that was a lot, that brought a lot more value to the Zoom as well. And then so the following week, I just sent it to Sue and Dizzy at the same time because I already have their numbers on my phone. And Sue couldn't come on, but Dizzy came and then Kalpesh came on, and that was a deal breaker for us. No, we can't do a next Zoom again. We could, but we would not do one this Sunday because we know Dubai is coming up, and we need to give Kalpesh a rest. So the main thing for us is, we don't need to have Kalpesh come and do the presentation. We just need about let's say 20 minutes an hour, if 45 minutes of his time or 20 minutes of his time just to come and take Q&As and to give that that validation, that third party validation. So that kind of breaks away from you having to go and call everybody and try to do a next third party validation because it has already been done. And when you have another two other leaders that comes on to add more value to that testimonies and so forth, then I mean everything is basically sold right there. It's just to get the people started. So you guys, I mean, get launches going, just organize, choose a day, connect with Kalpesh, connect with the leader, whoever you're choosing to come and represent you, and get those launches going and have at least 2 or 3 persons to come on as well to give testimonies, and to add more value to the to the Zoom itself. You just have to play the recording. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. So Sue,
Thank you for sharing that. Perfect. And yeah, it's all in the launches, guys and girls. If you haven't already launched your business, you're new, you're recently joined, reach out to your upline, ask them when there's a window in the diary where you can invite 10, 15, 20 of your best contacts that you'd love to do some amazing things together with, and get somebody to come in and host that for you, one of the people that's been in longer than you have. And as Aaron said, play the video, let the presentation do what it does, and then have a little Q&A afterwards, and boom, do as many of those as you can, as often as you can, and watch how your business just starts to take off with momentum. So thank you so much for everybody that shared today. Thank you everyone that put your videos on after the request was made. That's always a sign of growth as well. And thank you everyone that didn't put your videos on. Maybe next time, you're not ready yet, but next time just be more ready. That's all I'm going to say there. And we'll see you on the next Zoom tomorrow evening at 7, same time, different link. Get the information from the Telegram group and be present, and make sure that you're inviting your guests to those presentations to make the most use of them. Thank you so much. And if you're coming to Dubai this weekend,